Hey everyone, it's Austin Solomon, the Solomon Group at Coldwell Banker. Thank you for joining us on this week's episode of The Real. Today we're doing an episode talking a little bit about some unique stories. We're coming up on summer, wanted to do a little bit more laid back episode. A couple neat stories that I thought I'd share with you. First one is, this is probably about a good year or so ago, July of last year, I believe. Anyway, I had done an open house in the winter of 2020 for a seller. I was working with a seller, did an open house, and it was kind of a unique home. And there was a couple people that had signed, couple people that came and they had signed in. This is pre-COVID. And anyway, then there was a house like 7 months later that popped up that was pretty similar to the house that I had done that open house on. And I'm like, I haven't really kept in touch with some of those people that came to the open house, but this is actually like a house that's pretty similar. Pull out that open house sign-in sheet, send a text, and said, hey, this house came on the market. We met a while back at the open house. Just thought I'd share it with you, see if it's something you might be interested in. And hour gone by, nothing. And then all of a sudden I got a text like, hey, I think you meant to send this to somebody else. So sure enough, I look back at the open house sheet. One of the numbers is a little bit jumbled, got it wrong, typed it in wrong, whatever it was. So anyway, I said, oh, thanks for letting me know. I sent it to the right person. They responded back like, yeah, this looks like a fantastic property. When can we get in to see it? So I checked with the agent. There was already one offer in that the agent said, oh, it's super good offer too. Or they at least alluded that it was a good offer. They didn't tell me exactly. They can't tell me any terms, but they had alluded it was really good. So we got in there right away. We wrote up an offer and we got the house, and just in the nick of time too. So pretty exciting story. Crazy thing is that what I always think about is that if that one person wouldn't have let me know that, they were not supposed to be the recipient of that text, then that family would not be in that house at this time. Straight up, like they wouldn't. So kind of a crazy story, just kind of a reminder of how like some little things that we do can have large impacts. And it's something I think about a lot and pretty neat story. So story number 2, a little more lighthearted. One time there was a house that we had to get this piano out of, and I got looped into getting this piano out of this property, right? So we had like me, some family members getting this piano out of the property, right? Had to go. And according to the owner, the house was actually built around this piano, and it made sense because it was in this basement, block foundation, probably built in the 50s, 60s. And it had this wall that kind of protruded around the piano, and it just didn't make any sense. Like normally you have a normal rectangular style home. Well, this had like a rectangle foundation with like a little protrusion out one of the sides to like perfectly fit this grand piano. We had to get this piano out of the basement, right? So the only way to get that thing out was to bust it up. So we started busting it up with the hammers, trying to break it down into different pieces. And then like about halfway through, one of us had found like a label on this piano. It was like a Waltham Whitney piano. I don't remember the exact name. So we had like Googled it. I'm like, wow, this is interesting. Well, then I Googled it, and of course, like, I guess this was a piano company that had gone out of business, like during the Great Depression. And then of course, like, I'm like, well, what is something like this worth? And like on different sites, I found like refurbished ones selling somewhere between $10,000 and $30,000. And I'm like, of course, like then your heart just drops. You're like, what in the world? This one was fairly in rough condition, so I don't think it was probably worth that. But then you're like, man, what a waste. So kind of a crazy story, but we ended up getting that piano out. Let me tell you guys, they don't build things like they used to. It took hours. That thing was so well assembled. I think you could tie a rope on that thing and fly it across the country and park it, and it would still be intact. That's how solid this thing was. It was unbelievable. So 2 morals of the story there on that one. Other than that, guys, just two quick stories. Want to wish everyone a good summer. It's exciting as things kind of get back more to normal, and we get to do some of the things that we want to do, and just thankful that we get to practice real estate and have an impact on people's lives and have fun while we're doing it. So appreciate everybody's support. Looking forward to seeing you out there. Take care.